Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap. So in today's session, we are going to discuss a very important finance news article regarding the new RBI rules regarding the credit cards and the debit cards. So what are these new RBI rules? And why RBI has released it, who will it benefit, all of this that we are going to discuss in today's session. Now before starting with the session, please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you are new to the channel and join our Telegram channel for the PDF of this session, and you can get the link of the Telegram channel in the description box below. So now starting with the news article, that is the master direction has been released by RBI, that is regarding the credit card and the debit card issuance and conduct directions 2022. So these directions has been released by RBI, okay, and the provisions in these directions, okay, the provisions or the rules of these directions relating to credit cards specially shall apply to every scheduled bank, okay, it will apply to every scheduled bank and all the NBFCs that is operating in the country. So these rules will apply to all the scheduled bank and all the NBFCs that are working in the country, that is operating in the country. But in the scheduled bank there is some condition that excluding payment banks, it excludes payment banks, state cooperative banks, okay, state cooperative banks and district central cooperative banks. So these are the exclusion, all scheduled banks that excluding these, that you have to understand, okay, and all NBFCs that you have seen, all NBFCs that got the permission from the RBI, because NBFC cannot print credit card, cannot issue credit card until it has received the permission from the RBI, okay. So all the NBFCs that is operating in the India. So next is the provision of these directions. The rules relating to the debit cards shall apply to every bank operating in India. So for debit cards it is easy. For credit card there was payment banks was cancelled because payment banks actually do not issue the credit card. Okay, it is not permitted to payments bank to issue the credit card. That's why there is some exclusion in the first rule, in the credit cards one. So next is these directions shall be effective from July 1st, 2022. So these directions that we are going to understand, the rules that we are going to understand, these will be applicable effective from July 1st, 2022. Okay, so that also you have to remember. So now let's understand the eligibility. This is specially for the credit card. That we said scheduled bank. So what should be the eligibility? All scheduled bank, how? So scheduled commercial banks, okay, other than regional rural banks with the net worth of 100 crore and above are permitted to undertake credit card business either independently or tie-up arrangement. So in the scheduled commercial bank, the eligibility is if the net worth is of 100 crore or above 100 crore. In the RRBs are permitted to issue credit cards in collaboration. They cannot issue it alone. They have to collaborate with the sponsor bank or other banks, okay. Then financially sound and well managed scheduled urban cooperative banks. See, scheduled the state cooperative banks, the district cooperative banks, they cannot issue it, but the scheduled urban cooperative banks with minimum net worth of 100 crore, they can issue it if they have the CBS, that is the core banking system enabled in their bank. Enabled may issue credit card, okay, and they have some subjects also, like some condition also, that concern regional office of the Reserve Bank. They have to apply there in the regional office of the Reserve Bank. Then UCBs are permitted to issue credit cards to their regular members and nominal members, but not to other non-members, okay. If they can only issue the credit cards to their own members, regular members or nominal members, but not to the non-members. So these are some conditions that they have to follow. Total unsecured loans and advances shall not exceed 10% of its total assets. Remember, this is very important because now a percentage has come, especially regarding their total assets. So they cannot, UCBs cannot provide more than 10% of their loans as unsecured loans, that is, that doesn't have collateral, okay. So that also includes the credit card limits, okay. So including the unsecured loans that they are providing and the credit card limits that they are providing, they cannot exceed more than 10% of its total assets that the UCB has, okay. more than 10%, they cannot put in the unsecured loans. Credit card loans are also unsecured loans because you are not giving any collateral. Okay, you just got the credit card that you can use, but you are not giving any collateral. So that also come under the unsecured loans, and there are many other unsecured loans also that is there. So now non-banking financial companies registered. Now I have told you about the scheduled commercial banks eligibility. We have discussed about the regional rural banks eligibility, and we have discussed about UCB's eligibility, as well as now we come to the non-banking financial companies. As I have told you that NBFCs can only issue the credit card if they have the permission from the Reserve Bank of India. So all the NBFCs registered with the RBI shall not undertake credit card business without prior approval of the Reserve Bank of India. So they can only issue the credit cards if they have the permission from the Reserve Bank of India, and they have the minimum net owned fund of rupees 100 crore. So I hope you have understood the eligibility criteria. Now we can move towards the rules that is regarding the issue of credit cards. So credit card issuers shall provide a one-page key fact. Okay, they have to provide a one-page key fact statement along with the credit card application. So I am filling the application as well as I am seeing the one-page key fact statement that includes the rate of interest that will be charged, as well as the quantum of charges, the other charges, annual charges there are. So the charges that will be charged on that credit card. So I will have all the information that I need to know regarding the payments that I have to do. So containing the important aspects of the card regarding the interest rate, regarding the other charges that I have to pay. So that's why one page key fact they have to provide. So they are providing all the information that the consumer needs to know. Okay. The issue of unsolicited cards, that is unwanted cards. Many of the times what was happening that the card issuers were issuing the cards to the anyone that has any bank account. So that was unsolicited. I do not want the credit card. Still maybe with my opening of the account, with some other thing that I am doing, they are just providing me the card without my knowledge. So upgradation of the card is also strictly prohibited, unsolicited. Okay, so upgrade, sometimes your card got upgraded and you didn't even know, when the bill comes or something. So what happens now, it is prohibited. Now under the new rules, it is strictly prohibited. You cannot issue, the card issuer cannot issue unsolicited cards or the upgraded cards without the explicit consent of the consumer. So now if they issue it, what will happen with them? Okay, if they issue the upgradation, or if they provide the unsolicited card and they provide the bill also, that okay, this much charges you have to pay for the upgradation, what will happen that the card issuer shall reverse the charges. Whatever the charges it has asked from the consumers, it has to reverse the charges and pay a penalty to the recipient, that why it has done it. So it also has to pay a penalty. Card issuer also has to pay a penalty to the recipient, to the consumer, amounting to twice the value of the charges reversed. So if the charges were of 100 rupees, the card issuer will have to pay 200 rupees to the consumer. Okay, and if the consumer goes to the ombudsman, then the more charges will be added, the time consumed of the consumer, the hard work it has to do to come to the ombudsman, the efforts it has to take. So the consumer can also go to the ombudsman. So card issuers shall not unilaterally upgrade. Of course, we have understood that it cannot do it unilaterally without the explicit consent of the consumer. As well as it cannot enhance the credit limits without the permission of the consumer also. Explicit consent to the cardholder shall invariably be taken. It has to be taken, and any change in terms and conditions has to be told to the consumer beforehand. Okay, so now card issuer shall seek OTP based consent. What happens that if the card has been issued and for 30 days the card has been, no activity has been done on the card. So what happens that now after the 30 days of no activity, the card has not been activated. So what will happen, the card issuer will have to send a OTP consent from the card holder. It has to take the OTP based consent from the card holder for activating the credit card. Maybe I didn't need to use the credit card for 30 days, but after that I might use it, so I will give the consent. But if a card holder, that is a consumer, now thinks that it doesn't need the credit card and it has just asked for the credit card but it doesn't need it anymore, so it will not give the OTP based consent from the card holder. So card issuer now have to seek the OTP based consent from the card holder for activating a credit card if the same has not been activated by the customer for more than 30 days. Okay, so no card issuer shall report any credit information relating to a new credit card when it has been issued. It can only be provide the credit card information or credit information to the credit information companies when the card has been activated. Okay, not when the card has been issued. So no card issuer shall report any credit information relating to a new credit card account to credit information companies prior to activation of the card. Any credit information relating to such inactivated credit cards already reported to the CICs shall also be withdrawn. So if you have already provided the information to the credit information companies regarding the credit card that has been issued but not activated, you have to withdraw that information immediately. Okay, because now you can see that the issuance and the activated is different. Issue when you receive it, but activated when you actually do some work on it, or at least give OTP based consent related to it. The consent for the cards issued or the other products services offered along with the card shall be explicit, and it should be already told that what will be the charges, what are the extra product or services you will get. Maybe there might be extra services of calling, of messaging, like when you use the credit card the limit comes into your message or something. So extra products or services that is being offered, that should be explicitly told to the consumer that you will be extra charged. Like if you get the message, extra charges will be 50 rupees or something. That should be explicitly told to the consumer. The reason, now what is the explicit consent? The written consent has to be taken from the consumer or the digital consent. Okay, the card issuers may use other digital modes with multi-factor authentication to obtain explicit customer consent also. So the explicit consent can come through the written form or through the digital form. Card issuers shall ensure complete transparency in the conversion. Now if the customer wants to convert the card from to the EMI base, like I will pay in EMIs, in equated monthly installments I will pay the money that I have to give to the bank. So if the card issuer ensure complete transparency in the conversion of the credit card transactions to EMIs to the conversion. So proper information has to be provided that if you convert to the EMIs, what will be the charges, what will be the interest rate, or it is zero interest rate or not. So all the information has to be told to the customer clearly. Okay, closure of credit card. Now what is the big problem with the credit cards? That closure is the problem. Like if you want to close the credit cards, it takes a lot of time. Okay, and you have to go a lot to the card issuer to close the credit cards. So now what will happen, that the card holders will be provided option to submit request for closure of credit card account through multiple channels. Like I can provide the closure request through multiple channels through the IVR, that is their prominently visible link on the website can be there. The dedicated email ID of the card issuer will be there, on which I can contact and ask for my closure of the credit card. Helpline will be there, internet banking through the mobile app, any other mode you can close the credit cards. Okay, any request for closure of a credit card shall be honored within 7 working days. So I have requested today, so under the 7 working days the closure need to be happened by the credit card issuer, subject to payment if I have paid all the dues that are there, of course. So failure on the part of card issuers to complete the process of closure, if they are not closing the credit card under 7 days, in 7 days, so what will happen? A penalty will be there of 500 rupees per day of the delay payable to the customer. So it is a very beneficial situation for the customers, but it's somewhere it will harm the, not harm, but it will hurt the banks, of course, because banks or the card issuers were the one that were doing whatever they wanted with the card. They were not providing complete information. They were not closing the cards when the cards needed to be closed. They were issuing the credit cards at their own will. They were not even asking the customers properly. So now all of these will be closed with these kind of directions that has come directly from the RBI. If a credit card has not been used for a period of more than 1 year, the process to close the card will be initiated, and under 30 days they will have to take the permission from the consumer, and if they do not get the permission from the consumer under 30 days, then they will of course close the card because it has not been used for 1 year. And after that, under 30 days they will have to provide the information to the credit information companies. Okay, why they provide all the information to the credit information companies? Because they have, credit information companies have all the data. They store all the data regarding all the low credit there is given by the banks. So billing. Now what will be the new changes that has been brought in the billing section? So card issuers must ensure that the bills or statements are sent emailed promptly, and that the consumer has at least 1 fortnight to pay before interest is charged. So what usually what happens that the bill comes very late, or if the bill has been sent from where it has been sent to the receiver, it might take 2-3 days, and the days that are left to pay are very less then. So that is a very big problem, and due to that repeated complaints are being issued. Repeated complaints were there that we only got 1 day, or on the day of the payment only the bill has come. So how are we going to pay such a huge amount? So for that, it has been said by the RBI that the card issuers must ensure that the bill has been sent at least 1 fortnight. They have, like the consumers have 1 fortnight to pay at least, okay, before the interest. After that the interest starts charging, okay. So in order to avoid repeating complaints about late invoicing, so what happens, the late invoices happen or the receiver is receiving it very late, the card issuer may propose issuing bill account statements via internet mobile banking. So now it has been given an option to the card issuers. The card issuers, with the consent of the consumer, they can start putting the bills or raising the bills through the internet or mobile banking with the cardholder's informed authorization. The cardholder has to authorize it. Cardholders will be given a one-time option to change the credit card's billing cycle. Billing cycle is different for different card issuers. So if the cardholders want to change the billing cycle for himself, herself, they can change one time for the billing cycle. So role of co-branding partner entity, because there are many card that is being issued with the co-branding partner, okay. So the role under the tie-up arrangement shall be limited to marketing and distribution. The co-branding partner is only marketing or distributing the cards, okay, and providing access to the card holder for the goods and services that are offered. So they are providing the goods and services that are extra with the card, so nothing else. The co-branding partner shall not have access to the information. Okay, the information is very crucial, and the information is going to the credit information companies, and only they can store the information, okay, and the entity that is there. But the co-branding partner should not be given access to transactions undertaken through the co-branded card. So they shouldn't be given the information, personal information or the transaction information of the card. Post issuance of the card, after the card has been issued, like they are marketing, they are distributing, but after the card has been issued, the co-branding partner shall not be involved in any of the process, okay, or the controls relating to the co-branded card, except for being the initial point of contact. So they have sole purpose of marketing, distributing, providing the extra services and all. They should not be engaged in other things after the card has been issued. They have the initial point of sale, we can say, point of contact, we can say, but after that, after the card has been issued, they shouldn't be doing any work. They shouldn't be given any information. So now we have understood all the rules, major rules. Now the notification, if you have seen, the notification is very big, and there are many rules that are there, but I have tried to bring important rules for you all. Now we will see the debit card rules. There is not much to know about debit card rules. Debit card shall only be issued to customers having savings bank or accounts. Bank shall formulate a comprehensive debit cards issuance policy with the approval of the board. No bank shall issue debit cards to cash, credit or loan account holders. So of course the debit card is what? You are taking out the money, you are not putting the money through that. So or they are not credit cards that they are given to the loan account holders. So they should only be given to savings bank current account holders. So this is all the information that is very common. You can just go through it once and you will be easily able to understand it. Okay, there is nothing much new that has come regarding the issue of debit card for bank. So now these are the questions, this is the question and these are the statements. You have to tell that which of these statements is incorrect. Okay, I know that it will be very easy for you. If you have any query, you can mail us here or you can contact us through this number. Thank you very much.